Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Monday morning UBS Live. I'm super excited to be bringing back the completion of what we started last week, being the UBS Live. And now, because we didn't complete the content, we're doing part 2 of the Ultimate Retreat Success Blueprint. So we'll be hitting it off properly at 9 a.m. But what I'm going to do now is share this live across the couple of groups that I manage, which is what we did last week, and it worked really, really well. So I'm just going to I'm going through my computer and sharing this live across those couple of areas. I pre-typed everything, now I can cut and paste stuff. Share on a group, share to a group. Excellent. Hope you guys are having had an awesome weekend. All right, just let me get all this sorted out. That's why I come on early, a few minutes, to make sure that I can get all of these bits and pieces done logistically, and then we can get started with the content. And I'll certainly summarize what we talked about last week very briefly, and then we're gonna get into today's content. Okay, so just sharing that across there. Perfect. All right, I'm doubly as organized as I normally am, and I might share that into my onto my business page as well, and then we can get started. So not bums and seats, Ultimate 48-hour author. Perfect. Awesome. All right, I've done it all. Now, the other thing we've got to keep our fingers crossed is not like last week where the internet cut off, but that we're going to have our internet for the next 35 minutes or so. I've gone on the phone internet purely over the house internet because I don't trust it. I thought I'd try a different strategy also this week. So I'm super excited to be bringing this to you. And by all means, post comments, questions, ask questions after if you're watching a recording of this call. And good morning, Stacey, wow, Michelle, everybody. All right, guys. So what we started to do last week, I know it's not 9 o'clock as yet, but we started to go through in my planner that I have designed. I have checklists on how to run webinars, seminars, and retreats. But if you actually don't know what all of my little dot points mean with the checklist, then it wouldn't have any meaning to you. So I kind of thought I would unpack and give an explanation on the retreat execution checklist, and we started to go through that. And as I was giving you guys more detail last week, we thought, oh my God, we're gonna run out of time. Hey Adair, nice to see you as well. So I went through half of the checklist, and then of course we ran out of time, so I thought I'd do part 2 today. So if you did miss part 1, you can find it on my YouTube channel, and just put in Natasa Denman and the title, maybe Ultimate Retreat Success Blueprint. If you can't find it, let me know, or when we get off the call. Good morning, Lindy. I'm gonna obviously post the link for part 1 within the comments, so I'll do that. Or Lindy, actually, my VA is watching, so can you go to the YouTube channel and find the link for part 1, which was last week's recording, and can you post it in the comments right now while we're doing this? That'll be a lot more effective, me not having to follow up the work. So let's get into what we covered off last week very briefly. And then obviously that'll lead into whatever was left on this to cover off. You guys know that we came home from retreat last weekend, and I was really fresh after the retreat, and everything was really fresh in my head. But it's really good to have a week break and to be even more re-energized after having a couple of days off. All right, so the one thing, so I'll go through the 5 or 10 posts, ticks that we went through. So date and time selected, I said that 6 months lead up to retreat, or 9 months if you're new at doing retreats. So that was my suggestion, that you start out further out. Next one, table of value created, and 3 options for and payment plans to have. So we discussed 3 different levels of having your retreat offering at, and as well as options for people to have payment plans. Sexy name for retreat chosen, and outcomes in terms of wants outlined. So what will the person get as a outcome? How will that be rapid and fast, and picking the sexy name? Again, if you want more detail on this, the link for last week's live will be posted below this, and then catch up on the deeper explanation. Then we talked about setting up a Facebook event with a call to action to qualify interested in retreat. You wouldn't sort of take it seriously if someone said going to your retreat when they don't have the full version of it, but it's a point of getting them to the next step of having a conversation with you. Next one is qualify potential attendees through 30-minute chats to make sure you guys are a match and to add value. So I really find the value behind having a one-on-one conversation with someone who is interested really takes it to a more personal level, because these people obviously would be investing and coming along to something that will be quite transformational for them. Post regularly into your Facebook event to generate interest, but focus mostly to getting people to your webinar and seminar. So often people can go, oh, I want to run retreat, and that's all they go out promoting, which is like a big leap from nothing or free to a really high-end program. So what's your in-between seminar or webinar that you can run where you can actually establish value? And we talked about establishing value before you talk price. It's super important. It's like, most of us have had this happen, and tell me if I'm right, but when you have someone inquire through your website and then go, I want to come to your high-end thing, how much does it cost? So the first question is, how much does it cost? And it's kind of like off-putting, because it's like, hang on, if I give you, thanks Lindy, thank you so much. If you can post the YouTube link in the comment here so I can see it, that would be awesome. And so when people ask us about our price first up, you know that everything will be judged upon that price. Yet if they actually sat through a proper presentation of why something is what it is and what's properly included in it, then they're more likely to progress to the next step, because they'll understand the value. So I always talk about establish value first. Give people lots of value before you want to talk price about what would be for them to invest to work with you. Then I talked about run a series of lead-up webinars and seminars to generate chats and attendees to your retreat. So what I mean by this is that I generally run about 6 to 8 half-day workshops to fill one retreat. So over the year, I think I've got about 28 or 30 that end up leading into the 4 retreats that happen every year. So just to be mindful that it's not just one lead-up event or one webinar, there's actually multiples, because as you guys know, the sales funnel means that you're going to have lots of leads, then prospects, and obviously then clients. So make sure you schedule lots of them, and that you can actually cluster them. If you started the national tour last week, and in these 6 weeks there's 9 half-day events that I'm running all around Australia, and really a lot of work. However, they're clustered, which means that I don't have to be doing it like sporadically all over the place. And obviously that's when you're going to anticipate that you're going to have a sales boom. Then the next one was start your retreats at a lower price point so you can collect testimonial and increase prices. Thank you, Lindy. I can see it now. Perfect. So start at the lower price point, because you actually are not clear on, when you start doing your own retreat, you're actually not clear on how much effort and finances it takes to make that a success. Okay, so as we started running Ultimate 48-Hour Author, we increased in price over the following 12 to 18 months significantly, because we didn't realize that how much back-end work or front-end work, if you like, is involved. That actually the retreat is that cherry on the top, but everything I do the whole year is to make these 4 retreats happen. And it's that investment of finances, of time, of effort, of, just doing all of the work that you do. So you have to calibrate it right so that whatever you end up having in profit is going to be financially viable for your business, and to cover all your overheads. A lot of the time I see people put on events that take a lot of effort and time and filling, and they don't calibrate them correctly, and they walk away saying I lost money, or there was just so much work for not enough rewards. It has to be calibrated right so that you also feel great for helping and transforming other people, but that you also were rewarded and paid for the work that you did and put into it. Okay, so that's where we kind of arrived at. And then the next one is, so now we're going to go into a little bit more detail of the following ones. And we're just on 903, which is perfect for, getting into the content for this part too. So the next one is have an events page on your website that has a lot of detail on the retreat and an inquiry form. So it's really, really good to obviously put your retreats on your website and to explain what they are. If you have an experience video like we do, we put that video into the website to get people, curious. I've put my table of value as well in there. I haven't put my prices in there, because again, people are going to judge on a price point, but if they can see a lot of overview of what it is, at least they put in the inquiry, and when they actually call us or send us an email, we try to get on the phone and have a discussion about what the situation is, what their book idea is, what do they want to get out of it, what are the pain points, what is it that they want. And ultimately, even at that phone call, I still encourage them to either watch like a free training webinar that I have set up for them to understand a bit more about the program, or to actually come along and see me at a half-day event. So very rarely do I kind of go cold person inquiry into like, oh yeah, come to my retreat over a short phone call. The people that do ask for price just upfront, and they just won't let go and won't actually wait to actually get to know what everything is and establish value, they never progress. Never ever. The minute someone asks for a price straight up front, just kind of think that, yeah, this is not, it ain't gonna happen because it's purely being judged on the price. Okay, so that was, so set it up on your website. Focus on campaigns and marketing strategies to get people talking to you one-on-one. So what kind of things can you do to get people to actually get to know you and you to get to know them? Because ultimately, the sale is made in the rapport making stage. If you don't have great rapport with people and you they don't feel like, you know what they say, people want to know that you care before that, how much you care. People want to know how much you care before they want to know how much you know, right? And so, so it's really, really important to keep progressing relationships either through social media or websites or people that you're out and about networking, to progress them to a one-on-one setting where you can actually have a proper discussion and establish needs, establish wants, establish pain points, and all of that sort of stuff. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, imagine you did have those three different levels of offering, as I suggested before. If you've got those three different levels, a different person will fit into a different. So how could you even quote a price if you actually don't know what the person wants? And by the way, even if you quote a price, that doesn't mean that person is going to be a match for your program. Like an example of this is that we don't work with fiction and children's books in our business. So if someone inquired about my price, it doesn't even have any meaning to them, even whatever the price is, because then if I end up speaking to them, even if it was okay for them, they're not going to progress because I'm not going to let them, because it's not the type of book that I would do through my program, right? So just that's why we're getting them to the one-on-one conversation. Is not just about the client actually falling in love with you and liking you and having a rapport with you, but vice versa, you checking them out. As I said to you guys, and I've said this a few times to people, is that we have a no dickheads policy. Here it is, right here. Right here, it says no dickheads policy. Why? Because we don't want to work with people who are going to be a lot more trouble than they're worth, right? We want to make sure, are they a cool person? Because at the end of the day, it's those people that you end up collaborating with and you have an amazing relationship long term, especially if you're going to go to a retreat, right? Especially if you're going to go to a retreat. And so we want to qualify from the opposite way as well. It's like, do I feel that you are going to be an awesome client? Because not all clients were made equal, right? And so do I feel you're going to be an awesome client? Do I feel that you're a match for this program? Do I think that I can help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve through coming through this retreat? And all of that sort of stuff. And so, and plus personality. Like some people, everyone's different. Some people are quiet and some people are more rah-rah and all that sort of stuff. But it's like, do we sort of match that way? So don't just think, I have to just win this client over. Actually, the client has to win you over as well. And you got to start thinking about it that way. I know if you're early in the game, it's like, oh my God, I would work with anybody. I just want someone to come to my thing. But it's not like, that doesn't last. You will get to a point in your business where it is viable, where it is, you put in a lot of heart and soul into it, and you just don't want to work with people that are going to create heartache, because this is you're involved in it every single day. Hey, I know lots of people are joining, and hey, good morning, Christian. Sorry for not acknowledging you, but I'm right in the zone delivering the content. All right, so that was so focus on campaigns and marketing strategies that get people talking to you one-on-one. Next one is remember to get someone into a high-end program. You must build trust and value. Okay, so to get someone to a high-end program, you have to build a massive trust and value behind it. How does your program, your retreat, establish a return on investment in their life, whether it's tangible, intangible, numeric, whatever it is, that feels like it's 10 times more than the calculated price? So that needs to feel like, okay, if someone did this thing with me and I helped them achieve this transformation, how does that look like in their life that it's 10 times the value of the calculated price? So you got to think about that, is it going to be, is that their business, can it grow, can it double, triple, quadruple, whatever it is? Is there a huge long-term return on investment? Is it something transformational that you're going to do with them in terms of improving their health, their relationship, the way they feel about themselves? What's the price on that? A lot of us say, something like that would be priceless, right? So how can you establish that massive value that feels like it's 10 times the return on investment? Because people don't just want to get their money back. People want to know that their life's going to be so much better and so transformed. They're going to go, oh my God, I will just pay that. It's a no-brainer. So how do you turn your offering into a no-brainer? When they think they've got everything, there's more and more and more that you keep bringing into the picture with amazing ongoing support, bonuses, all that kind of stuff. So that must be trust, rapport, and build massive value. So remember, that's the key to get someone to a high-end program, and that's why a lot of people go through a lot of no, because they don't actually spend the time to cater and design their offering. So it's just absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, and one tip I'm going to give you guys is make sure that how can you this is a fun little thing, how can you put a number on your thing? I always say, I've always loved using numbers. Ever since my first niche, lose the last 10 kilos, like ultimate weight loss, lose the last 10 kilos, 1,000 days to $1 million coaching business from home, ultimate 48-hour author. So I put numbers on my stuff, 7 this, 12 that, time-wise, money-wise, all that kind of stuff, because people ultimately react and respond to time or money. People either want, so also the other thing that you got to consider is, how does my thing help someone save time, make money, or save money? Okay, so if one of those three things or all three can be promised through your thing, and of course then there's also the personal transformation kind of stuff, but ultimately you're saving them time. If it's a personal transformation, you're saving them time in heartache and feeling crappy about themselves or within their relationship, so still you're saving them time. So how can you perhaps potentially offer a numerical outcome, whether it's days or months or steps or whatever it is, that they're going to achieve a certain outcome? And then some people will say, well, Nat, how can you sort of say that would happen? Like, sometimes people go, double your clients in 90 days. How can I promise that? What if they don't do it? What will that make me look like? Well, I go, it's not, no one's going to say anything, because actually if they did follow the steps you gave them, and you truly believed if a person invested in you and they followed all those steps you're going to give them, it's going to double their business, then it's going to double their business. The ones that do the work get the exact result that you promised. Same thing as a 48-hour author. A lot of people don't believe a book can be written in 48 hours, or a good quality book can be written in 48 hours. However, if they follow my formula and blueprint and actually do the things, the pre-work, everything that I tell them to do, every single person has done it. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, a few others who have been joining. So every single person will get the result who does the work. Of course, people don't get the result because they go, okay, I'm going to invest in this thing and things are just going to happen. So what happens in this world is that people sometimes think they're solving their problem, but they're not actually doing it. I had it used to happen to me in my weight loss coaching niche when I used to do it. People would pay me money to be coached by me, to come in, you know, and have the accountability and the support. Yet some of the time, some of the clients would not do the work and therefore not get their result. And why is that? Because, and I had a coach at the time and it used to get me really disheartened. It's like, I'm a crap coach. I don't know, maybe I'm not saying the right things. Maybe I'm not asking the right questions. And it wasn't. It was nothing to do with me. My mentor said to me, you know what, Nat, sometimes people feel good about that they've done something about their problem, but they're not really doing anything about it. So, you know, every time you buy a book on weight loss or you enroll into a gym membership, but you don't actually use it, like, you know, the person does know inside themselves that they're not doing the work. So never be worried about people not doing the work, because people, you know, you're not responsible for that. There's a saying, you can take a horse to water, you can't make him drink. Well, that's the same here as well. You know, you just need to do everything out of honesty and integrity and provide as much support as you possibly can. And those people who are committed to your process and to listening to their mentor, which would be you, through this retreat, then they're going to get the result. Without fail, they're going to get the result. It's never in 7 years happened that those that didn't follow my blueprints of whatever they were doing with me, they didn't get a result when they actually followed the steps and put in the time and the effort. Okay, next one. Post lots of social proof and visuals on social media when you're at your retreats, because that is actually the key hottest time when people start to inquire. It's like, oh, what's happening? It's that you know, fear of missing out. So you guys, about a week ago, you would have seen, and if you go through my personal profile and flick through to a week ago, you will see there were tons of posts, live streams, images, you know, just all of the stuff that as the retreat was happening, we were posting, we're keeping people updated. You know, I've had so many people sign into my retreats because they've been watching the journey, and not once, you know, because we've done 17 retreats now. So people follow us now year after year. They're curious about what our theme's going to be, what our song's going to be. So there's certain aspects of our retreats that have something that's different. So people go, oh, I wonder what the theme for this one's going to be. So they follow, and our you know, other authors who've done the retreats previously, they comment on our posts, you know, reminiscing about their previous experience and saying, oh my God, this changed my life. And when that happens, so that's social proof of visuals, but then boom, there's social proof of people who've been through it before and encouraging the people that are currently there. So it also gives your current participants real peace of mind to go, you know what, I'm doing the right thing. Look at all of these people that have been there before me, are saying all of these things, and I hope I'll be saying that one day. And the people who haven't been or want to work with you are kind of going, oh, okay, it looks really interesting. I wonder what it would be like if I was there. And obviously reading the other social proof comments, they're going, okay, so other people have loved it and all that sort of stuff. So it's really, really important. I know it's a lot more, it's more work. Like, obviously when you're running a retreat, you're like kind of want to focus on the people there, and you want to, but there is moments in your experience that you will have a break and all that sort of stuff. Or perhaps if you didn't have a crew person, when you can have crew, and it's highly recommended, we take away 2 crew and then it's me and Stuart. So we actually have 1 person purely on social media. So people think I'm posting, but I'm not, because they're helping me out, because I can't be delivering and doing all the other stuff and doing the social media. So my husband was on social media duty this past retreat. He was posting on the fan page, in our groups. Thanks, Michelle. And by the way, I'm going to be welcoming you into our secret groups after I get off this call. I'm so excited that you, Michelle, you guys, is coming to retreat. Yay, it's going to be so good. So Stuart was on social media, putting stuff in groups, putting stuff on our fan page, putting stuff on my personal profile, doing all the bits and pieces, Instagram, all of that kind of stuff, you know, and that's what got the traction going. All right, next one. create a professional video that shows the experience of the retreat when you first run it. Okay, so this is something that I invested in very early on. So I didn't do it at retreat 1, but I did do it at retreat 2. But if you can do it at retreat 1, then it's going to be so much easier to be able to get people to get a feel for what it's going to be like. Okay, so I know this is a big, can be a big investment for people, a few $1,000s, you know, to do like a 3-minute trailer, if you like, for that particular, for your retreat. But it's worth its weight in gold, because when you do run those webinars or you run your seminars and you can show something and it looks, you know, sharp and professional and everything, people like go, oh wow, you know, I can see how this runs from start to finish and what I would get, and you know, just get a summary of what your experience is. And I can tell you, the first time I actually invested probably close to $5,000 for my first one. And it was amazing. Hey, Anna wants to run her own retreat, which she's run, not wants to, she's running them. It really is worthwhile, because people, we all, as human beings, I've always, if I could see something visual, and more than 60% of us are visual, you know, I buy into that emotion of what's happening and what I can picture myself within that. So I strongly recommend making something. We recently remade our retreat video finally after, so retreat 2 and then retreat 15, we redid it because I started to feel was super, super old. And so I highly recommend that you do that, and it's something that you can play at the end of your seminar to say, well, do you guys want to see what this looks like? And here it is. All right, number, there's no number. Next one is only create all the systems and PowerPoints when you have sold a few spots into your retreat. Someone's gonna freak out right here, all right? So yeah, totally, Michelle. So what do I mean by that? So I always say in my half day event, I never created anything before I sold it. So the only two things you really need to sell your experience or your retreat are the table of value, which is your packages, and your date of when this is going to run. Because if you have no date, you have no commitment to yourself and you have no commitment to the other people. So only two things, you don't need anything else. Often people go, oh my God, but what am I going to deliver, and how's my content? If you have the vision and the passion for what this is going to be like, you'll be able to sell it. And of course, with your table of value of what people would get and how you would establish that value should make it really easy for you to communicate across. Because who's going to know that you don't have your checklist, that you don't have your systems, that you don't have, for your first time, don't spend time and effort putting all that stuff together if no one buys it. When the first person buys it, yes, get on to planning that, because no matter what, I would have turned up even for one person at my first retreat. And to this day, I always say, I don't care how many people are at my retreats. If 1, 2, 3, I'll go with that one person. I'll go have an intimate experience and I'll deliver what I promised. And I've always said that to you guys for years now. Never schedule or never reschedule or cancel an event. Those are my 2 core rules when it comes to events. Never reschedule or cancel an event, which means no matter who's committed to you, you turn up and you commit to that person. And don't worry what that's going to look like. People love intimate groups. They love all their attention, the attention to be on them. So just do it. And then all your systems and bits and pieces will come together so quickly, because you will not have a chance to procrastinate. You will get in there, you will do it, you'll pull it together, and you'll get to the retreat and everything will be ready. But do not create absolutely anything until you've sold your first spot. Okay, just remember that one, because you're going to go through so much hard work without if you can't sell it, you need to rejig it then and work out what else would sell. I'm sure you know all the stuff in here and you can bring it out on paper when the time is right. Okay, we might go over a little bit. All right, find the venue 2 to 3 months out. Decide if you will cater or hire others, and allow for numbers fluctuating. Okay, so I even think start researching venues even earlier now that I've done 17 of them. Exception to the rule, you lose your voice and can't speak. What would you do in that circumstance? I lost my voice 3 years ago in August for a month, and I still turned up to all my coaching sessions and did everything that I committed to. I did, and I don't know. It's hard. It's super hard. And you just have to figure out alternatives. But for me, I don't know, my personality is that I would never cancel something, and that I would follow through and add some other value in other ways and all that sort of stuff. But it is hard. Yeah, if our health is not well, then yeah, there's always an exception to that rule. But trust me, in 7 years, I've never cancelled or delayed an event. And sometimes I felt sick as a dog and got on a plane and got to Sydney and hosted my event. And at the end of it, no one knew any different, because I just, what successful people do, they know how to manage their state. They could be tired, they could be exhausted, they could be sick as a dog, but they turn up and they do it and they put it on. Of course, if you need to be in a hospital bed, that's completely different. Okay, so 2 to 3 months out, catering is very important. When you run retreats, it is very important to pick a good venue and have awesome food, because people do judge it on that. The visuals, the facilities, the food and all that kind of stuff, they do. It's almost one of the most talked about things that you're at retreats. So don't underestimate the importance of that and how it adds to the experience. So do look at those things and figure out, because in the early retreats, Stuart and myself used to run them in private houses where we used to cook. Like, I didn't used to cook, but he did. He was the chef. And again, people were amazed with the yummy food that he catered for us. But also you could, obviously hire in a stay-in chef and get them to cater for your clients and all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to a retreat thing in December with Joy, and she said she's going to cook for us the whole weekend. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's a really, really intimate one. But you obviously don't want to get stuck in the kitchen. You're delivering stuff. You don't want to be also cooking unless that retreat has the ability to give you that time to do it, and maybe it's a social thing that you'll be doing. But do allow for your numbers fluctuating. As much as I'd like to say people commit financially for something and you think, yep, they're coming and all that sort of stuff, there is changes in the last minute. And usually changes do happen by surprise. Sometimes they give you plenty of notice, sometimes they don't. We do have a fee if someone changes their retreat date, because it does, in my agreement, it actually says, look, it takes a lot of time and effort to make this happen. And so if you do change your originally agreed upon retreat date, there is a fee to that, to do that, because of course you also pay deposits and amounts to your venues and all that kind of stuff. So it's important to think about that. And as much as we don't like it, keep in very close contact with your clients and retreat attendees. Don't sort of lose touch with them, especially with 1 month to go, with 30 days to go. We start like a Facebook message, secret, outside of the group, and we just basically chit chat and get to know each other and keep each other updated on what's happening, flights, all that kind of stuff. And that way the relationship builds and everyone's excited. And if anyone gets scared or apprehensive about, this is coming up, because it can bring up a lot of resistance in people's lives, especially with what I do. It may not be with every single type of retreat, but for my people and who are authors, I always send them this mindset video with 30 days to go, because there's so much resistance that happens around them, because this is their next stage of transformation and change. And it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? They start manifesting things in their life, like, getting not well or something happening. And I always say, these are the most common 7 things that could be happening to you right now. And when they listen to that webinar, it's pre-recorded for half an hour, they go, oh my God, Nat, how did you know I was going through all of this stuff? And I go, because it happens. It's happened with over 200 people that have been at these retreats now, and I just know exactly how you guys operate and what your head and little critter brain is doing right now. All right, so let's start to wrap up the last few points. Prepare folders for attendees with all worksheets needed. Think about music. Obviously music is a wonderful anchor point. I used to give out like lots of little handouts, and then I realized, oh my God, why don't I create a retreat booklet and have it bound and all that sort of stuff? So it evolves, you grow and you learn more stuff. But initially I used to put it in display folders, the ones with the clear pockets. I used to just put all the handouts in there and give them. Later on, obviously, I got a printer to print me the whole booklets and all that sort of stuff. So, because it was very, very time consuming trying to do all the display booklets and all that sort of stuff. But I did that and I changed it because people said, why don't you just give them to us all in one go? And I go, oh, I didn't think of that. So that's how we changed that. So prepare all of your things, put their name, make it nice and special and personalized for them. If you're alone, make sure you have at least one person helping out or two as crew. As I mentioned before, crew is very important in retreats. It helps with emotional support of people, being at retreat. That's what I tell my crew. Our number one priority is to watch and monitor people's emotional well-being during the retreat, because some people can get really scared, fearful, and like into their own world and not say too much. And other people are quite outspoken and confident. So we just sort of monitor all of that, and crew is very, very important, and you can have that support as well as they get a lot of value out of being there with you as well. Ask for feedback and referrals for future events. So when you're at your retreat and you're finishing up, we usually have a segment called Future Opportunities with the Ultimate Team. And this is where I tell my retreat attendees that they now become an affiliate of this particular retreat, and we offer kickbacks, okay? So we say if you refer someone in the future, there is a X amount of dollar kickback that you will get if that person progresses to do a retreat for themselves. And they love this, and we have actually paid this out over 30 times in the last 3 years, because our authors love what they're experiencing and how their life's been transformed. So why wouldn't we reward them when they actually end up saving us money in marketing dollars? Okay, because the amount of money that I spend in marketing dollars to find someone purely cold versus someone who's been referred into someone that already has done the process is, it's a fraction, and thus I'm very happy to reward my retreat participants for referring to us. And of course, it fills the future retreats and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot easier conversation to have someone who already has trust with you because of their friend or colleague or whatever it is. Okay, so think about that, because you're always thinking about what else can I have out there that could be an incentive to get more people finding out about what I do and all that. And so last one is, let your retreat attendees know what other support you can offer afterwards. So as I said to you guys, remember I said earlier, when you've given them everything you're going to give them, and then you give them even more, often the comment at the end of my retreats is, oh, we didn't know so many people were involved in this process. Oh, did we get all of that? Because sometimes people sign up with you and they kind of sign up for what they believe they're signing up. But I keep going, but there's also these things you can attend, and these things that you can, it's not just our 48 hours together. Hey, we've got 2-day masterclasses you can tap into for support, ongoing. There's an inner circle every month as a webinar style support. We record everything, we film everything, and hey, here's all the links. There's over 200 hours of training there in the back end of my of my YouTube channel that I've hidden, that I give access to my authors. And they go, oh, we didn't know we get all of that. And I said, you do, guys, but you obviously needed to go through this whole experience for me to show you where everything is. So always offer ongoing support. Depends what style style of retreat that you're doing, but it's really great when someone signs up with you for a high-end program that you also give some form of ongoing support that perhaps doesn't cost you a lot of time or money in any way, but it's another way of just keeping your community together and keeping people being involved. And don't forget that those people who work with you at a high level also potentially in the future may want to do something else with you, because there's what we call the lifetime value of a client. And I can tell you, I would say 20% of my clients continue on to do like my at-home mastermind program, which we get people to come every month after month, and we have like the yearly family. I mean, Anna, who's on the call, she's coming next, doing it next year. And so don't forget that people are not just often going to do just one thing with you. They may do more things. You know, so many of my clients buy the planner. Like, you know, that year after year they support me by buying the planner. Yes, it's not a high-end program. It's a $50, $60 product, depending if you're buying it off me or I need to post it to you. But they go, we love your planner, Nat, so we buy year after year and all that. And that's great when you have the platform, when you've got the following, that you go to those people, because those people already love it. She goes, I wish I could start now. Not too long. It'll come around before you know it, Anna. So guys, I trust this has been valuable. I know we went over a few minutes. But I have gone through that whole retreat execution, and you have the planner too, yes. Retreat execution checklist. Of course, this checklist also is, again, a high conceptual overview, but I've given you a lot of tips and insights as to what it takes to run retreats successfully and what to think about in terms of structuring and all that sort of stuff. And something that people have asked me to do a lot of, and I'm happy to do this as a separate UBS Live, maybe even next Monday. Hang on, I don't know if we're going to be on next Monday. I'm traveling to Canberra, but I just want to see what time I leave. Oh, that's all right. We'll be on, because I leave at 12:35, which means I can run UBS Live and then I can get to the airport. I was thinking of, would it be valuable next week to like show you guys how to properly design. A lot of the time I get asked this question, and I've run this numerous times, but it seems to keep coming back up. Would it be valuable for me to teach you guys how to like design your table of value, like what your offering is and what to think about putting in there? Let me know, because that will potentially be next week's call, because sometimes they go, yeah, that's great how you've done it for yourself, but what do I need to think about to add all the things that would be included in my offering? Because it just keeps coming up. I've done it before, but people keep asking for it time and time again. So let me know about that one. And absolutely, if you do, yes, please, Anna says, if you do want the planner, we have the 2018 ones that have come out. So you guys need to just, I'll actually post the link below this video, and you can go along and buy yourself one. And if you do buy it today, I'll send you a 2017 bundle up with that, because we have a few left over and we just want to clear out the boxes, so you'll get the 2 planners to use. And if I'm going to see you around the country soon, I'll look forward to it. I can't wait. The Ultimate 48-Hour Author Blueprint workshops are taking first up Newcastle, then Sydney, Canberra. So those 3 are all next week. And then we're off to later on Queensland in September, Western Australia, South Australia. So I hope to see some of you who have never been to one of those before. And I'll connect to you again next Monday, and we'll do the packages, how to pull together high-end packages and bits and pieces. So have an awesome Monday. Smash out the rest of the week, and I'm super excited to be getting very organized, and I'm off skiing this coming weekend, so I've got to get everything organized for New South Wales next week, this week. So have an awesome week, guys. Bye.